Sophie Morales, and this is Sophie's Tips, the channel where we look for ways of making life in the kitchen faster, easier, but mostly delicious by doing unboxings, reviews of different appliances, recipes easy to follow, and different comparisons to make sure that you have the right equipment in your kitchen. Today, we're looking for the best blender. So we've been seeking different options in the channel, and today I think this one might be the winner. So far, my favorite one is the Vitamix 5200. So that one for me has everything that I needed, but as I said in that video that I'm gonna leave right here, I kind of missed the program. So I wanted presets to just click a button and say, I'm just gonna leave it there making my smoothie and then I'll come back. So that is something that I found on this model of Vitamix. This is the Vitamix Propel 750. So we're gonna do the unboxing, we're gonna prepare it for the first use, and we're gonna do not only a smoothie for experiment, but also another one of the functions that it has to see if we like it, if this one is the one and only that I love for the Sophie's Tips kitchen. So let's get started, but before we do, please subscribe. It helps us a lot to keep uploading new videos. It's totally free. All you have to do is click on that subscribe button. So the first thing that we're gonna do is open the box to see what's inside, to see the different accessories and what's included in the box. After opening the box, I can tell you that this is everything that comes in the box. It comes with its motor base, with its container. It is 64 ounces or 2 liters. And the container comes with its lid, a 2-piece lid. This one is made out of a very malleable material, and it has 2 clips, and that way you can put it on top of the container. And this one is for you to put the tamper that comes with it inside here while you're preparing your smoothie. For example, if you have some of the ingredients that get stuck during the preparation, you will put this in and then just mix it a little bit, and then you can safely put it back with the lid. And it comes with its documents. We have the user manual. It comes with a quick start guide, and the brand recommends that before you start using your product to register your product. Honestly, I'm not very good at that. I should be better at that since I review appliances. I do recommend it. It helps you out, especially if you have anything that you need repairing or exchanges or anything that has to do with warranties. It's better if you have it registered. Now that we have everything out of the box, I want to show you a little bit of the things that you have to know of how to operate the Vitamix before we actually use it. Starting with the motor base, one of the things that I really like about Vitamixes is that they come with the cable hidden at the bottom. So that's something really cool. And the cable that it comes with, it's really long. Okay, so this is the cable right here. So it comes all the way to the microwave, and this is really cool, especially if you're gonna use this for either a small shop or a restaurant. Normally, it's hard to find where to plug it in and then use it. In my case, for example, I'm in my home kitchen, but when I'm making videos for you guys, I normally like to set it up somewhere in the middle of the island, and the plug is all the way to the side. So this case, I have no problem just plugging it in. But sometimes for other appliances, when the cable is too short, I kind of have to place things differently or even use an extension cord. The operation is really simple. The first thing that you would have to do is click on this switch. It has an on and off switch. This is a safety feature, so you have it off at all times. This way, even if you click the other parts right here in the control panel, it won't turn on unless this one is on. It has a blue light to indicate that it is on. And once you have that, then you can start using the control panel. It has 2 switches. The first one right here is an on and off switch. And then this one right here is the pulse function. For me, pulse in a blender is really important because sometimes you just wanted to kind of mix a little bit something in without actually just putting the food all inside. For example, when I'm making a salsa, sometimes I like to have pieces of that cilantro that are bigger and not just everywhere, right? So that's where you put a little bit in and then you just click the pulse function and it works beautifully. In the middle, we have the actual operating switch. So this one is off. It has two ways of operating. This side right here has 10 different levels of speed. So if you're making a recipe that you already know how to prepare, you know how much time you're gonna need, you just use one of these parts right here. One cool thing about it is that it doesn't click, meaning that you can smoothly run in between the different speeds, which help you out because it's actually more than 10 speeds, right? Because I can just put it in between maybe the 3 and 4 and it is just 3.5. So I think that's really cool. And then you turn it off. But say you don't actually know exactly how much time to use for a certain preparation, for example, a smoothie, you can use the presets that come with the blender. So right here we have the smoothie function, and then it comes with this one right here that is more of a frappe function. And then it comes with a soup function, a nut butter function, so that one I would use is for making peanut butter, for example, or a hummus. And finally, right here at the bottom, we have the clean function. This one is really convenient. You just put some water and some soap in, and then it just gives it maybe a 30-second clean, and then you just rinse it. And if your blender doesn't have it, you can actually just do it like that, like I described. Put some water, some soap, and just turn it on for maybe 20 to 30 seconds and then rinse it. Just to put the actual container on top of the blender is really simple. You don't need to do anything like turning or anything. You just put it on top and it fits right in. That simple. And speaking of the container, the handle has a soft grip, so that's really nice. And it has this shape actually right here to put your finger, your thumb here. So that is really convenient because it is a heavy container. Right now it's empty, but imagine that I have a preparation that is 2 liters of something in here. It is really heavy. So this way you can kind of conveniently put it on, and that's it. And this way you have a good grip on it. And this lid I love. So this is one of the biggest reasons of why the Vitamix 5200 won last time that I did a review, because it is very easy, it is very malleable to just put it on top and it fits right in. You don't have to do anything else. You just kind of push it a little bit and that's it. For other Vitamixes, we have the problem that the lid is the same material as the actual container. It is Triton, which is not malleable. It is hard plastic. So at least for me, that kind of is a problem when I'm trying to quickly put the lid on the container. So for me, this one I like very much. And to operate the tamper, remember not to put anything else in. Don't use a spatula or anything else, a wooden spoon or something. That's why it comes with a tamper. And make sure you use the tamper that comes with the model of your Vitamix, because they do have different sizes and it depends on your blender, the actual tamper. So they guarantee that when you put this in and it's running, the blades will never touch the tamper. You don't need to use the tamper every time. It's just if you're making something, maybe a smoothie that got stuck and needs a little bit of air, that's when you would use the tamper. And the last thing I want to mention about the actual container are the blades. They are very sharp, stainless steel on both sides, and you don't have to remove anything to clean. This is a safety feature because of the high speeds that the Vitamix use, but they're really easy to clean. With the clean function, you just rinse it with some water afterwards and it comes right off. So now that we have everything out of the box and we had that mini tutorial of how to use the blender, it's time to make some experiments. So I'm gonna clean and wash everything for the first use. The first experiment was to try the smoothie function, the preset function that comes with the Vitamix. So I used the quick start guide. It comes with a small formula of how to build a right smoothie. So I did the order that exactly it recommends, starting with a liquid, For liquid, I added 2 cups of almond milk. After that, it says to add all of your powders or all of your dry ingredients. In this case, I used oats. So I did half a cup of oats, and I added some collagen pep seeds. So I did 20 grams of that. And then I went for the leafy greens. You can add any leafy green. In this case, I tried that with spinach. Some baby spinach, I just grabbed 2 bunches and put them in there. And then I went for the frozen ingredients. So all of the ingredients that were in the freezer come next, starting with a mix of berries. This ones I bought already frozen. So it comes with strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, all of the berries. So I did 2 cups of that. And then I used acai. So this one does not come as a fruit. It is a puree that they put in small ice cubes. So I did a cup of that. And finally, I wanted to have a really frozen smoothie because it's very hot right now in the summer. So I did about 6 to 8 ice cubes. And after that, I just started the blender using the smoothie function. And this was the result. So when I was serving it, I can tell you that the result was a very thick smoothie. All the consistency looked good, homogeneous, so I don't see different colors of the smoothie. That's a good signal that all of the ingredients were able to incorporate into the mixture. What I can tell you is that in the middle of the blending, it wasn't so long. It was about maybe 45 seconds, but I did notice that it needed a little bit of help with the temper, so it needed a little bit of air. All I did was open the small lid and added the temper and just move it around just a little bit just to help to incorporate some air. And after that, I couldn't help myself and I did try it. It's really good. The texture is excellent. Normally when I prepare smoothies with oats, I can feel the texture of it in other blenders. So you can feel at the end you have some residue in your mouth. In this case, it is a really smooth smoothie. Very smooth, to the point that I cannot feel the leafy greens, I cannot feel the oats, and everything is one flavor. So you don't notice the difference, not even with the ice. So sometimes when you prepare frozen drinks in other blenders, you could feel pieces of ice. In this case, it's just one drink, which is really good. And I did do my straw test. So it's been here, I've been talking a little bit, but still you can see that it is thick because I put the straw in the middle and it still stands very good. So far, the preset of smoothie has a 10. So now let's try another experiment. The second function that I want to try, just because I was really curious of how it did and how it performed, was the soup function. So I wanted to be unbiased for the result of this recipe. So I didn't use any of my own recipes. I followed a recipe of one of my Vitamix recipe books. It is a thyme tomato soup. All of the ingredients and all of the quantities, everything is step by step of how they recommend doing it. And it's basically just grabbing all of the ingredients and putting it into the blender and using the soup function. And then it is ready to serve. So it sounds very simple. Let's see. So the only thing that I did was prepare the ingredients. I'm gonna leave the list in the comment section just so you see if you're interested in trying the recipe. It had different elements. The first element that I want to tell you is it needed liquid. It asked for chicken stock and any kind of milk. And then the flavor of the tomato, it asked for different presentations of tomato. So from fresh tomato all the way to canned tomato, tomato paste, sun-dried tomato. So all of these different variations of tomato were added. And then in terms of flavoring, of seasoning, it has onion, garlic, not only the thyme, but also oregano. So that was kind of the flavor part of it. And the last element that I could see that was more for the texture, so to have the right texture of a cream soup, was carrot, a medium carrot. I didn't do anything to a carrot, cut it in half, put it in there, that's it. And the last thing, it was ground flax seeds. Once everything was in there, I just started blending. All of them were at room temperature. I just used my thermometer to try to confirm how the ingredients started, and it was around 60 something degrees Fahrenheit. So basically room temperature. And then once it went in, the first thing that impressed me was that it is a long time. It is more than 5 minutes for sure. I mean, one thing is that you're not gonna cook it, but it does take a little bit of time. So it's more of just blending. It's more heating and blending. Once it was done, I measured the temperature and it was 160 something. So it was a temperature that was ready to serve, ready to eat. That was good. The only thing that I thought about was, okay, so this does not cook. I want to make sure that I clarify that. It does not make a soup from scratch. So if you have a potato, for example, you have to cook that potato before putting it into the soup, unless you want raw potato in your soup. So that's something that I want to clarify, because some of these ingredients, it did ask for raw ingredients. So let's see how that turned out in terms of the flavor. The recipe book has a picture, so I try to kind of plate it the same way. Tell me in the comments, do you think that my soup looks like the picture? I think it's pretty close. So now that we've seen the picture, let's taste to see how it tastes. Okay, so it is a very intense flavor. Definitely you can feel the freshness of the thyme. And something I do want to mention, I was kind of worried about that onion, and it does taste a little bit strong. So if you're not into strong onion flavors, you might want to cook it beforehand somehow, maybe saute it or something before putting it into the recipe. But it was really quick to do, so that was something that is pro. And in terms of the flavor, I can tell you that, yeah, it tastes like tomato and thyme, so that is right on. And in terms of texture, I can tell you that it is a very soft, silky soup. It has the right thickness. Even the touch in the mouth is very soft. So I think that's something that is really cool. And it does have that garnish, so you can feel some of the thyme when you take the taste. But if you skip the garnish, it is very soft. Tell me in the comments, what do you think about the soup? And this is the Vitamix Propel 750. Let me tell you my first impressions. So far, so good. Both of the tests that we did, not only the smoothie, but also the soup, gave me good results. Good texture, good flavors. So this is something that if you're considering this model because of the functions, I think that's something really cool. I did also try the clean function in between tests, and it works. So just put some water, some soap, turn it on, that's it, rinse it, works perfectly. And physically, I love the color. So this time I tried something different. Normally, I look for either stainless steel or black appliances. This time I said, well, let's go a little bit more colorful and try the red. It is a very colorful red, very bright, very cherry-like, so I like that. I like the control panel, how it operated. It was very simple. The fact that it has the security feature at the bottom to turn it off in case you're not using it. I love that as well. And the jar was huge. I was able to make 5 servings of soup, so that's a lot. If you're a big family, I think it works. If you are thinking of maybe getting this for your restaurant, for example, I think it's a good option as well. And I love the lid. You know, I love the lid. I mentioned this in the other video for the Vitamix 5200. I think the fact that you could just put it on and off easily and it's still safely grabbed in the container, I think that's an awesome feature. Do you want to do another experiment? Just let me know in the comments. Maybe you want me to try another feature, the nut butter maybe. That's something that I definitely want to try to see if it works. Maybe doing an almond butter. Let me know in the comments, what do you think? And if you're here up to this point, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you being up to this point of the video. So please subscribe if it was helpful. And if you know of someone that's looking for a blender, just let them know that Sophie's Tips exists. So send them either this video or this playlist right here with all of the blenders that we have tested in the channel. See you next time. Ciao!